Welcome to Property Mama Adventures in Real Estate. This is where I share all the goings on, spilling the beans about what goes on in the real estate industry. And in today's episode, I'm going to share about my experience that I had when I first started as a buyer's agent, buyer's advocate here in Melbourne. So before we get into that, if we've not met before, my name is Wendy Chamberlain. I am a buyer's advocate, buyer's agent, seller's advocate as well here in Melbourne, Australia. And Property Mama is my platform to share all about the adventures that I have dealing with real estate agents, with buyers, with sellers, with the humans all involved in the real estate process. So before we get into that, I just wanted to say thank you to those of you who have provided me with feedback about how much you're loving my Property Mama adventures that I'm sharing. I really appreciate knowing that it actually is helping people. And I'd like to ask a favour. So if you're tuning in to our episodes and enjoying listening to the adventures, I would ask, please, the favour is if you could share it. Like the episodes that we are providing for you, but also share it with friends, family, colleagues, and share the love so that more people get to find out about the adventures of Property Mama in real estate. So what was my adventure when I first started as a buyer's advocate? So one day, I had, as I've said before, I've been buying and selling real estate for 28 years. Now, I have never actually been a sales agent as such. This is my experience comes from boots on the ground with our own properties that we buy and sell, renovate, etc. So when I first started as an advocate, I was talking to a fellow businesswoman that I had met over the years through networking and so forth. And we're having a conversation, and she said that she was getting started or had got started as a buyer's advocate, and she was contracting to another person. Now, here in Victoria, you need to be a fully licensed real estate agent to run your own buyer's advocacy. But you can get a qualification, which at that point in time was agent's rep. You've now got to get a property for course done. So there's a bit more of a qualification. So I had my agent's rep. So I was able to start as a buyer's advocate working under somebody else just initially. Now, I was qualified enough to go and get my full real estate license, which is what I ended up doing. But at that point in time, I hadn't gone through that process and gone and got it. So I was talking to this lady, and I just felt like I really needed, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a buyer's advocate. I wanted to buy houses and help people on this process, which is what I do, and I love it, absolutely love it. So I spoke to this person who my friend was also talking to, who was actually contracting and as a buyer's advocate that she was. And all good. And she said, yep, come on board. Happy to have you as one of our buyer's advocates, which is fantastic. So as I said, I had the agent's rep qualification. At that point in time, I had been buying and selling our own real estate for around about, I think, 17 years. So I had quite a solid foundation in what it takes to buy and sell real estate, because I've been doing it myself. And I wanted to get into the buyer's advocacy business. So I started as a contractor with this person. All good. Or so I thought. And this is the reason I'm sharing this is my experience of basically being within, working within for somebody else within the real estate industry. Because this particular person, she was an ex-selling agent. So she had been a real estate agent on the selling side of things, and then had decided that she wanted to jump the fence and start helping people to buy properties. And that's fantastic. And that happens quite a lot. It actually is one of the one of the main introductions that I've found with buyers advocates is that they come in from being selling agents, and they change over and they formally become a buyer's advocate. It's one of the ways they get involved, in my experience. And so that was fine. So as I said, I'd never been a selling agent, but I had a very solid background in buying and selling real estate. So I get started with this particular person, all fine to start with. However, I very quickly started to feel that our ethics didn't align. And there were telltale signs along the way where things were done, things were said. I went, is that actually, is that right? Is that what you meant to say? And even with personal experiences that I had. And as I said, my colleague that I'd met through networking, she also was working as a contractor. So we were both contracting to this particular person, as were a number of other people. And so you get started, and there was some education. It wasn't a lot of education around what to do. And basically we just thrown out there going, right, go for it. And I think at that point in time that she had started with a number of people. There was, like I said, it was myself, the other lady, and then there was some other advocates. And I remember that she ran a competition to see who would be, to encourage us as the new advocates to bring on a client. So the competition was that the first person to bring on a client, a buyer advocacy client, buyer's agent client, to help them buy a property, won this prize. And the prize was a weekend away down by the beach. And I thought, great. And so a week or two went by, and I won the prize because I was I was the first of that batch of advocates to secure their own client. It wasn't a client that she'd passed through from one of her leads. It was that you had to go out and find your own client and get your client on board. Basically, land your own client, the first person to do that. And that was me. So I won this weekend away, which was terrific. Now, I was just working out when it would suit to go on that trip. So let's park that for a moment. Okay, so I had that, I won that prize, all good. Hadn't gone away on it yet. So as I said, as we continued to work as contractors for this person, there were more and more bits and pieces that were coming up that didn't feel right. Now, we were provided with business cards, but we also brochures that you could hand out. Now, this is going back, I think, like 9 or so years. So it was different. It wasn't as much as online and things like that. So on that brochure and on the marketing was a 1300 number. And we were told that if people rang the 1300 number, they would be asked, how did they hear about the company? And when the person said via Wendy, then the leads would be passed through to us. That's what we were told. And on that basis, that's what we were doing. Now, I was going out and I was connecting with a lot of people, getting in front of a lot of people, doing networking, saying, because I love real estate. And I was like a dog with two tails. I still am like a dog with two tails. I love real estate. I love helping people. I love buying properties, selling properties for people. That's what I love to do. It's my wheelhouse, and I am very good at it. And so what happened was, and one of the key referral partners, so yes, you can talk to people who might be looking to buy or sell, but one of the, in addition to one of the key referral channels, if you like, are, and this is the same in any business, connecting with people who have your clients before you. Because in business, people have your clients before you and people will have your clients after you. So in the real estate industry, that's people like mortgage brokers, accountants, financial planners, family lawyers. Those type of businesses are very good referral partners for a buyer's advocate, because they are dealing with their own clients who may need to buy or sell a house. So it makes sense. So as I was getting started in this business as my own advocate working under this person, we had to go and basically we had to fish for ourselves. We had to bring in our own clients because I think I got one referral just when I started, but that was it. I didn't receive any other referrals. We were having to hunt for ourselves, which is fine. And so I was connecting with mortgage brokers. Now, I made a time with a mortgage broker, went out and met with them and so forth and explained about what we do and how we can help and how we can support their clients. And that was fine. And I was saying the things and I was saying the things, all very good. And the person that we were contracting through was checking in with us, how we were going. And I mentioned that I had connected with this mortgage broker. Because I was saying, oh, I spoke to this person, I spoke to that person, because my expectation was that potentially there was some feedback there or some suggestions or some support that might be offered. So I let them know that I had spoken to this mortgage broker. A little while later, I was looking at the Facebook page of the company that I was contracting to, and here is this review, like a review from a client of the company saying how they were had such a great experience working with the owner of the company to help them buy their house. It was the mortgage broker that I had connected with and had said that this is who I was speaking to, etc. And there they are on the Facebook page having given a review because the person that was supposed to be supporting me had actually bought them a house. So, I mean, obviously I'm going, what's with that? What happened there? That was the person that I had spoken to. And it was all very like, oh, well, they turned up at my house. Well, how did they get your address to turn up at your house? And then when they, by that time when they showed up at my house, they were at my front door, it was too late. What's too late about that? First of all, how did they get your address? Number one. Secondly, if you knew that I was speaking to this person, they basically were my prospect that I was speaking to, and then for whatever reason, they've contacted you and you give them your address and they show up at your front door and it's too late to hand it over. So I went, okay. I wasn't comfortable with that. But I thought, okay, right, put that one in put that one down as all right, I'll just keep a note of that. I'll keep a note of that. So there were other bits and pieces, as I said, I keep saying that, you just get a feeling, you just know something's not quite right. And that's why I say our ethics didn't align, because there were other bits and pieces that we heard about or saw, behaviours that I wasn't comfortable with, unethical behaviours. When I say that, by the time that I had started contracting to this person, as I said, I've been working in real estate for 15 years. I knew how to buy a house. I knew how to sell a house. And she turned around and said, I'm only allowed to do buyer advocacy. I wasn't allowed to sell for clients because I didn't have enough experience. I didn't know what I was doing to sell a house. I went, okay, interesting. Okay, your opinion, fair enough. In your mind, perhaps. How much experience do you need? So, as I said, I had my agent's rep, which is the basic qualification you need to start under somebody else. But given my level of experience, I was able to get my real estate license. I just hadn't got it at that point. So I started going through the process of getting my real estate license because I wasn't comfortable continuing to work under this person because our ethics were fundamentally different and I was not comfortable with it. So I had the intention of getting my full real estate license and I was going to go out and become my own advocate under my own company. So what happened was she got wind of this, that I was going through my qualification, and that I was going to get fully qualified. Because there was another thing. When you're an advocate, you've got to be registered under the Business Licensing Authority, which is here in Victoria, the BLA. And you can be put in there as part-time or full-time. Now, they had deliberately put me in there as part-time, which meant that the qualification with the industry of actually working in the industry was going to take twice as long. And I said to them, and I was working full-time for them, and I was one of their top performers, which may be why she got a little antsy when I said or she got wind that I was going to go, because it was going to cut her income stream, obviously. And they had deliberately registered me as part-time. And when I said to them, can you change it to full-time? They go, oh, we thought you were only working part-time. They knew I wasn't working part-time because the results I was achieving was not a part-time effort. Anyway, so like I said, there was a whole bunch of things where I went, I don't think we're going to, I say to myself, I don't think we're going to be working together. So I started putting the steps in place that I needed to do to be able to go out on my own, because the way that I work was different to how they worked. Let's put it that way. So it's interesting. Let's go back to the prize that I won. So I still hadn't taken the prize because I was busy. I was buying houses for clients, and I hadn't arranged to take the weekend away. So I decided, okay, I'm going to book this weekend away. Like I said, it was down the coast, nice break on a weekend. And the other lady that, like I said, the fellow colleague that I met through networking, she said, do you reckon you better check that the booking's still there? Because what it was a timeshare. So this person had a timeshare, and that's what she was giving away a weekend at this particular timeshare. And I said, you reckon she's cancelled it? She goes, well, you never know. So mind you, this is the prize. She gave a prize for the first of her advocates that secured their own client, which was me. And it was booked in for a number of months in advance, right? So I rang the venue, and I said, hey, look, we're booked in for this weekend away on this particular date, just checking that everything's okay. And they said, that's been cancelled. That booking has been cancelled because I guess I don't know what the rules are on a timeshare, but I suppose that they had booked it and then unbooked it. I said, oh, okay, no worries. I was not told. The lady didn't tell me, the person that I was contracting to. So I'd won this prize, I'd booked it, and checked that it hadn't been cancelled. It had been cancelled, and the person hadn't told me. So I think, it's just my opinion, but I reckon that they were hoping that we would go there on an expectation of having a weekend away, get there, and everything's cancelled and have nowhere to stay. That's what I think was going down. And as I was mentioning this to someone recently, and I said, well, you won the prize. Irrespective of you deciding to move on and do other things, you still won the prize. You should have had the prize on it. I went, probably. But this is who we were dealing with. Now you understand why I didn't really stay there for a great amount of time. Really, really interesting. So the other thing about it, and this is why I'm absolutely know that I made the right decision, because I'm all about buying real estate with heart and doing absolute the right thing by the person that you're working with. So by the time when I was getting my qualification, become a fully licensed real estate agent, which was taking a number of weeks, as these things do. At the time, I was working with 4 clients. I had 4 clients that I was working with. Now, obviously, when you move on, as with any business, you have to leave your clients behind because that they were under that where you're working. You can't take them with you. Absolutely. Understand that. That's normal. So at this point in time, as I said, I had 4 clients, and I had a call from one of my clients, and they said, Wendy, you need to know that I've had a call from that woman, from basically the person running the advocacy. I said, oh, okay. And she has thrown you totally under the bus and said that I'm not qualified to be working as an advocate. Okay. And he said, so I thought you should know that that's what she's doing. I said, okay, thank you. No, I really appreciate that. How is that ethical, first of all? It was just reaffirming my decision to go, okay, wasn't it? How is that ethical? Second thing is I was working under your license. So I had my agent's rep, which is what you can work as an advocate under a fully licensed real estate agent who was running the advocacy, which is what she was. So you're ringing my clients telling them that I'm not qualified. Well, first of all, I was, and I am. Second of all, if I wasn't, that's on you because I'm working under you. You've appointed me and it's under your license. So you're ringing people saying that I'm not qualified. Thinking you're throwing me under the bus, you're throwing yourself under the bus because the blowback's going to go on you because you're the one that is allowing me to operate under your brand, under your license. It's like, it's just wild. But it gets even better. So that's fine. I already knew what I was dealing with. And you go, yeah, welcome to the world of real estate. As I said, this was an ex-selling agent that decided to be an advocate. And then with her flexible ethics was pulling that kind of shit on her own people who were out there helping clients, of which she took a cut. How about cutting your nose off to spite your face? But anyway, so when the point came where I had my qualification, so I was able to, because under the rules in Victoria, you have to have a company that's registered as a fully licensed real estate agency, which I went through the process and got done, still have to this day, obviously, because I'm on my own advocacy. And then I got my full license as a real estate agent. So I had what I needed to go. So as I mentioned, I was working with 4 clients at the time and we were looking for properties and everything. There was one particular client of the 4 that with his budget, we were looking in the inner west of Melbourne. He wanted to buy a property on land so that he had the future potential to be able to develop it down the track. So a house on land. We'd identified a property that was within his budget. However, as is sometimes the case, the agent and the vendor were not prepared to sell it before the auction. We had to wait for the auction in order to try and buy it. I asked about making an offer. They wouldn't accept an offer. They wouldn't look at an offer. Now, unfortunately, for him, I'm going to say, and you'll know why when I tell you in a minute, the auction, date of the auction was about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks into the future. And it was after when I was planning to leave and when I was going to leave. Because I can tell you with all those shenanigans that she was doing, she was getting really antsy and getting really nasty, shall we say. So when my ducks were lined up, I left because I wasn't going to be hanging around, putting myself in that situation, have someone treat me like that. No, thank you. So unfortunately for this client, the auction wasn't here yet. And as I said, it was about 2 weeks, 3 weeks in the future. And I had to hand him back as a client because he was a client of the business and that's the right thing to do. So after a few weeks when the auction took place, because obviously I'd been speaking to the real estate agent. So the auction took place and I rang the real estate agent and I said, did my client buy that property? And he said, no, somebody else bought it. Your client bought a townhouse. I said, they bought a townhouse? He said, yeah, they bought a townhouse. Now, number one, it's sold within his budget. That house on land that he could have developed and bought a house and had future potential as a developer or manufacture some growth, whatever he chose to do in that property, it's sold within his budget. Number two, he did not want a townhouse. So the thing is, and I talk about this as being buying wholesale versus retail. If you buy something that you can improve, I call that buying wholesale, because you can create a retail product out of it. Buying a townhouse, you're buying retail because someone else has done that. They've taken that block of land and that house, knocked it over, built 2-3 townhouses, whatever, on that block. So they've taken the wholesale and created the retail. That's what this client could have done, and that's what we were aiming to do. And what I can tell you, it's what I would have done with him if I didn't have to hand him back. So she has shoehorned him into a townhouse to get him off her books, because that's what she does. So this is why it's very important to make sure that the advocate that you're working with knows what your goals are, knows what the outcome is that you're looking for, and has your best interests at heart. The last thing it should be about is getting paid. The first thing, the only thing it needs to be about, is making sure that what we buy for the client is what is the best for the client, what is suitable for the client, what the client wants. Because one of the conversations I have with clients is, okay, how long are you going to hold this property? What are your plans for this particular property? Because if someone says, look, they're only going to hold it for a year or two, well, then that influences the decision-making process that we have. If they're going to hold a property for 20 years, that also influences the decision-making process that we have, what we're going to think. So it's only my opinion, but I think she totally did the wrong thing. And I've heard her do that kind of stuff through the industry, because I'm in the industry and the industry talks. We talk to all kinds of people, all real estate agents, and it's how I have all my adventures. I hear what's going on. I know what's going on. And that person is not well liked in the industry. Shall we put it that way? Which is fine. They can choose to behave how they want to behave, and I will choose to behave how I choose to behave. And it's one of the reasons why I am creating the Chamberlain Buyer's Agent Academy. It's one of the things that we have in the works that we're going to be launching, where we're going to educate people who want to be buyer's agents. You want to be a buyer's advocate, you want to be a buyer's agent. We're going to show you how to do it, and do it with heart, because it should be about buying real estate from a place of heart. And what I mean by that is buying real estate is very stressful for people. And I know this because they tell me all the time. I was at a networking event yesterday, and they were talking about the stress of it. Even people that have are not in the market to use a buyer's advocate, they'll say, I wish I knew about you because I have, and then they'll go into their story about the stress and the pressure tactics and the bullying and all the things that their experience was when they were trying to buy a property and having to deal with a real estate agent. I will reiterate, it's not every real estate agent. We work with amazing real estate agents, and there are some great ones out there. But unfortunately, in this industry, there are enough bad apples in the barrel to taint the industry. And that's why I am creating an education portal for people to be shown how we buy real estate, because it is possible for the experience to be one that has minimal stress. The client enjoys the process. They have that weight taken off their shoulders when it comes to looking and buying a property, because we are there standing side by side, holding their hand. We've got their back when it comes to buying. So I will be sharing more about that in a little while. If that's something that is of interest, reach out and we can have a further chat about it. If you are looking to get the support of a buyer's advocate because you've been missing out. Now, we offer multiple services. If you've found a property that you love, we can step in and help you negotiate with the real estate agent to buy it. If you found a property that's going to auction and you're nervous or not confident or I can't make the date, we can do that. We offer a bid at auction service. Or we have the full service, and the full service is where we get in there and we see what's available, but also that opens up to you that world of off-market opportunities. and at least 40% of what we buy is off market. Off market means that it's not advertised. It's not advertised to the general public. So off market opportunities come around for a number of reasons. Perhaps a vendor doesn't want to pay marketing costs, because that can be anywhere from 3,000 if you're lucky, up over 10,000. Depends on what the property is, where it's located, etc. So marketing is a big expense. Many people are nervous about the selling process. They don't want to have a cast of thousands coming through their house, because that's what happens when you go onto the public market. The public come in and have a look at your property, and people are nervous about that. They don't want that. It's an inconvenience if they're working from home, if they've got pets, kids, all those things. You've got to get your house ready all these times to have it open 2-3 times a week for people to come through and have a look at your property. If that's all too hard, they'll look at something selling it off market. There's also pre-market, which is something that they will go to the public market, but if they can snag a buyer before, then they'll happily buy the property, sell the property. We'll buy it, but they will sell their property off market. There's a whole raft of reasons. They might be just seeing what their property might be worth. Lots of different reasons. But under our full service, you get access to our networks. So I've been buying and selling real estate for 28 years. So I know many, many real estate agents. I have great, solid, genuine relationships with real estate agents. And when I say to people, because people go, well, maybe I can just go and find an off market. Well, maybe you can. However, here's the challenge, more so for the agent than for you if you're looking to buy. The challenge for the agent is when they have a property for sale, who's coming and look at the property? Well, neighbours are going to come through. People that haven't got their finance sorted are going to come through. People just tire kicking, looking for something to do on a Saturday, renovation ideas. So all of these people coming through a property, the agent has to filter through who the actual buyer is. I do this for a living. I've got a buyer. I'm genuine. And so advocates are far easier for an agent to deal with, because they know that we have someone, what our criteria is, and we get in there and we buy properties. That's why the fastest for me to buy a property for a client is 1 day. It's not unusual, 1 day, 2 days type of thing, because I'm constantly speaking to real estate agents. I have established relationships. So if you come to me and say, this is what we want, this is the suburbs, I can make some calls and we can find you properties. That's what we do. So if this is what you're looking for, chamberlainadvocates.com.au is our website. Obviously, we're on all the social platforms. Just reach out. You can send us a DM. You can go to our website. You can make an inquiry there. You can even pick up the phone and give us a call, old style, if that's what you want to do. Okay, so there you go. That was my adventure in real estate. So I went out on my own. Initially with the colleague that we worked together, we established a company together. And then after a little while, she moved into the state and we went our separate ways. And I'm running my company now, Chamberlain Advocates. So, yeah, I love what I do. I'm very pleased with that decision to move in the direction that suits me. And more to the point, suits my ethics and how I like to operate. But each to their own. As we say, you do you, boo. I'm going to do it how I want to do it. So thank you for tuning in for episode 9 of Property Mama. As always, welcome any questions. If you've got any areas of real estate that you would like me to talk about, discuss, answer your questions for you, happy to do that. Just pop questions in the chat or reach out on a DM or come across to our website, of course. And I look forward to speaking to you again and sharing more adventures in a future episode. I'll tell you about the 5-day negotiation where the agent lost his marbles. Seems to happen a bit, doesn't it? All right. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye-bye for now.